Excuse me.
Has a mind of its own. There's no Vinny, so I guess.
Coach, you have a young group, but you also have veteran guys in each kind of position group all the way back. How much of a impact or benefit is that for this season?
Well, it's always good to have veterans so that you have guys that know the system, are more comfortable, obviously communicating, have seen all the different looks, and plus they have some leadership on the field and off the field in terms of teaching the young guys how to prepare to get their bodies ready for training camp, how to study tape, how to watch practice when you're not in to get the mental reps. And then the young guys, just their energy usually helps push the veterans. They're younger, they're healthier, they're ready to run, at the drop of a dime. So that always usually helps the energy in practice and helps push guys.
Coach, two-part question for you. First of all, several of the young guys have commented about following the older veterans.
Mm-hmm.
How much as a coach does that benefit you when you got guys who aren't coming and saying, I'm in the league now, no ego, they're listening?
I mean, it's always good to have the guys that have done it, give feedback. I never played in the NFL, and I'll say this, aside from my background, the coaches I learned a lot from the players. So I can imagine when they're picking their brains in, the locker room or when they're eating or when they go out to dinner or back at the hotel, I'm sure they're getting even more knowledge than what I gained from the players when I was coaching them. I mean, I've had some really good players that have taught me a lot about the game because they've seen it.
Secondly, Coach, what are you most pleasantly surprised with so far? I know it's only a few days, but I'm looking for a positive that you're most pleasantly happy with.
Our guys work and the willingness to listen, and they're hearing what we're asking them to do. They know it's not perfect. They know the goal is to get better every day. And the guys come into work, they listen, they're attentive, they're working hard, and they're being good teammates, being respectful of everybody's time, valuing the process. And they know that we got a long way to go, and you can see the work ethic so far, knowing let's get better from the morning to the meetings, from the meetings to the field, from the field back to the meetings, back to the walkthrough, and just trying to improve.
Coach, I know you weren't here last year, but under Gus Bradley, they ran a more simple scheme, and you have a history of being a very varied coordinator throughout your career. How have the guys that were here last year, kind of adjusted to a more complex scheme when it comes to learning?
I mean, football, again, is not as complex as everybody thinks. I mean, football, you have single high zone, you have single high man. They played that here last year. You have split safety zone, split safety man. They played that here last year. I mean, we're not reinventing the wheel anywhere. Again, from each system is usually language. That's probably the thing that's different. And the guys have embraced it. I mean, so again, this is a very successful defense last year, and we're just trying to build on that. And then obviously some of the language changes, but it's really not as complex as everybody thinks. There's only so much you could do out there on the field to take away what the offense is doing, and it's usually a different language.
What are your early impressions of Malcolm Koonce coming into his second year? Kind of took a red shirt year a little bit last year to golf. Where do you feel he's at right now?
I remember him coming out of college at Buffalo. I really liked him when I was at the last place. And, you see a player that's fast. We'll find out about the physicality. I know in college you saw the physicality, some of the plays from last year, you saw the physicality. But the thing that stands out the most is the speed and, and his willingness to try to improve. We asked a lot of him during the spring. We asked him to narrow his focus and attack that goal. And he's trying his best to do that, and that's all you can ask for him to do.
You talk about narrowing focus. A guy like Jonathan Abram when he's had a narrow focus, has had times where he really, really succeeded. Other times he has struggled in other areas, maybe if there was a lot more asked of him. What have you seen of him, and where do you see his role?
When we talk about narrow the focus, again, as teachers, we got to find the best way to teach our guys. So, again, some guys handle multiple, some guys, you got to build it a little bit slower. Each player's different. So Jonathan's one of those guys that can handle a bunch. He's a really smart football player. He works at it, works really hard. He has a great skill set. And really it's our job as coaches to, really put him in the best spots where he could be successful. And I know this about Jonathan. He's willing to do whatever we ask. He's in here early, stays late. He brings guys together. So I've been really, really pleased with Jonathan. But I knew that about him when he was coming out, when we interviewed him when he was at Mississippi State. He's just a real good football player that works hard at his craft and is willing to do anything for the team, which we value. team first guys, so that's important.
What can Deron Harmon do for Abram?
I mean, you probably have to ask Jonathan and do that, but I know Do has a lot of veteran leadership. He's seen a lot of things. Again, to me, when you got those veterans, they've seen so much. It's no different than a quarterback. You know, a quarterback's able to decipher the disguise or figure out a disguise because he's seen so many different ways the guys are playing it. It's no different than a safety. Safety's back there. Really, I would say more so is the quarterback of the defense a lot of times. So, you know, the more reps dude's had, the more likely he's seen more things and he could talk on it. So, I mean, whether it's Jonathan, the other guys, Rod, I mean, he's helping everybody out because he's a good teammate, really good teammate.
What's your vision for Tre'von Moehrig, who played a lot of snaps last year, his rookie year?
My vision for him to be good. Does that work? Does that work? I want him to be good, help us win a lot of football games. No, I think what we got to do, you know, he's in his second year. He's shown the willingness to work. He's shown the willingness to communicate. You know, that's the one thing from that position we're asking those guys to talk a lot. You know, post snap, talk a lot. So that's one important thing. Again, he's working on it every day. You know, we just point out we're trying to build it. You know, it's early on in training camp. There's a lot to work on right now, but I would say right now in this part of training camp we're in right now, probably the focus would be communication. Communication, recognizing sets, and then just keep building on that.
Coach, since OTAs, you guys have spent a lot of time without a couple big defensive tackles and Jonathan Hankins and Bilal Nichols. What have you seen from the rest of the guys kind of in that time and stepping up?
Well, thankfully, you know, OTAs, you know, you're not really dealing with a lot of the run game, the physicality. This is when you really need those guys going. But the young guys, I'll say this again, I'm real pleased with the overall group and how they work. Does that make sense? So I'm not trying to just give you, some cliche answer. The guys come to work every day. That's what I've been pleased about. But the big thing I'm seeing is the improvement on their run technique as much as they can without going against the body yet. Does that make sense? So we know that our defense and the vision Josh has, he wants us to win the line of scrimmage. So we got to be heavy-handed. We got to come out of our hips. We got to strike people. Right now, we're not striking people. We're hitting sleds, but you see the improvement. You see the pad level. I always think about young defensive linemen. They're in college. They're better than everybody. So you could get, just like in high school, you get away being higher because you're looking for the ball. You're better than everybody. Here, everybady's good. You better get your pads down or you're going to get embarrassed. So that's been a big focus for Frank, myself. Even when Josh comes over there, I promise you probably hear Josh say, get the pads down on the sled 20 million times since we've been here. But that's a real focus right there, and they're working at it.
Talk about transitioning to a 34 base from a 4-3 front. When you have guys that you bring in like Bilal Nichols, who comes from the Chicago Bears and played under that front, how much of, like you said, someone said earlier, help they are to like Neil Farrell, who can probably be a nose tackle, but can also play that 4 technique as well in two-gap scheme?
I think you misspoke. I've never spoken about transitioning to anything. Okay, nice one. I'm on to you now. I'll say this, again, however we deploy the front, I don't know. Game one, we're going to do what we think is best, guys. So if it's 3-4, 4-3, 33, 5, whatever they call that, we're going to do what we think is best. The guys are learning multiple positions. Here's the thing. The roster's so limited. We only have a certain number of players. Guys have to be able to do more than one thing. That's how you increase your value. That's how you increase the possibility of you staying here, being on the team. So we ask a lot of our guys, whether it's in the front, the second level or the third level, that we ask them to learn more than one thing. And now, if you only know one thing, you better be really, really good. Because there's, game day, there's only 46 spots, so we got to be right on that.
Coach, without Tre'von Moehrig healthy right now, who have you had the opportunity to really get a look at? And was it Anthony Averett maybe, or Rock Yassin? What have you seen from the cornerback room?
It's a competitive room. And I know that's been said, but it really is competitive. And I think these guys push one another. You can see them in the cafeteria hanging out. My office, I can see the parking lot. They're always walking out together, whether they're listening to music. I don't know what they're doing, but that's one thing. They're around each other. They're pushing one another out there on the field, and they hold each other accountable. I love when they're correcting the other guy before I even get to him, and that's hard to get to at this point in the process we're in. We just all met in the spring. We're in the first few days of training camp, so that's been good. Out there on the field, what you want from corners. We'll find out truly. We want guys that can tackle, that have some toughness. Obviously, they have to be able to run and play panic-free in the deep part of the field. have we really been exposed to that yet? No, but I can see the speed out there from the group. I see the competitiveness from the group and the willingness to work at tackling. So we'll find out when the pads come on.
Coach, it's not even a pad yet, it's only a couple days, obviously, but has your defense gotten accomplished what you wanted to the first 3 practices?
Hell no. Am I allowed to say that?
You just did.
We'll let it slide.
I mean, I'm a coach now. I mean, come on. we got a lot of stuff to improve on. No, they're working hard, but no, we have the standard's the standard. The standard's the standard. And like Coach said, we're trying to build championship habits, and it's a process. So it's an imperfect game, but we're striving to be perfect. And so if you ask me as a coach, no. So, but they're working at it. They're working at it. Sorry for the language. Don't tell my mom.
Sorry if you've already been asked this, just walked in, but what is Denzel Perryman bringing as a leader? Beyond just the swag that he's got and the attitude that he's got there, what does he bring as a leader on that defense for you?
I think it's important, and I've been around some good ones in my career, consistency. And, whether it's your emotions, whether it's, out there on the field with your communication, your play. I mean, you can't lead if you're not contributing, and being consistent with your contribution there. And he comes in the same way every day. Great energy, willingness to learn, accountable. If he messes up, he's willing to take the blame for that, and he holds others accountable. And because he's in that position as a linebacker, he's doing a good job of communicating between the players and the coaches. And that's important from that position.
Coach Graham, in all my years of covering football, when you see a coach like Rich Bisaccia that the players love, there's usually an acclimation period. These players have bought into Josh right away. I'm curious, you've been around the game a lot. What is it about Josh that won these guys' hearts so fast?
One, I mean, I'm sure they looked up on the internet the resume. I mean, arguably, in my opinion, one of the best play callers in the league. He's had a lot of success. The thing that they might not know, but they probably assume it, is how hard he works. He's going to look underneath every stone. I'm not real good with saying so, but look underneath every stone. He's going to make sure to cross every T, dot every I. He's real detailed. He's real honest. He's consistent. The things you're looking for from a leader, just like we talked about DP right there. He's consistent, and he comes from a championship background. He's building a championship culture here. That's the standard he's going to hold for the guys here, the coaches, the players. So I'm sure that's part of it. And just being consistent. That's a big part of it, and he is, and he's had success. So.
One more thing. No, I'm good. Okay, good. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Good. Thanks.
Thanks, Coach.
Questions for Tre'von?
Trey, I know y'all haven't put on pads or anything yet, but how do you feel like the secondary has kind of picked up from OTAs in terms of continuing to learn a new system and kind of hitting the ground running out there?
Yeah, like you said, we're just kind of trying to string along the days, just learning more and more each day. And just coming out there trying to get better, on the small things, especially just communication, lining up, and then just playing fast to the best of our ability. So I say we're just trying to do that every day and just let the results happen.
How much has De'Ron Harmon been able to help you kind of learn what they want to do here?
Yeah, he's been a great help, man. Ever since he got in the locker room, he's been a great locker room guy, helping even the vets and the younger guys. So that's my dog. I love playing with him and love learning from him. So he's been a great addition to the team.
I know you're learning a new scheme and everything, but how different do you feel this year compared to this time last year coming in as a rookie?
Man, really, I'm approaching it the same, really. Just showing up and just doing my thing, helping with, the younger guys, helping with everybody, still learning. So that's my approach to it,
Coach Graham said that sometimes a little bit too much is made of a defensive scheme switch. But from your perspective, is this subtle or a dramatic change from what you're used to?
Not really. I think it's just concepts, just learning the concepts. And if we can do that, what we do to add a little more razzle-dazzle or whatever you want to call it, we'll do. But at the end of the day, I think it's just the concepts of learning each defensive scheme. So.
Would you talk about Coach Graham, just about his personality? Every one of you guys, when you talk about him, you smile like you are right now. What is it about him that you guys have really bought into him?
Yeah, he's just been a great coach. One of my favorite things he says is that we're all co-workers. So that's kind of how we approach it. He's a fun guy, funny guy. But when it's time to get to work, it's time to get to work. And so that's really what I love about Coach Graham.
When you have a year like you had last year, obviously come in, have a very good rookie season, everybody, rave reviews for what you did, like, how much confidence that you, not that you didn't have confidence before, but that you just like, oh yeah, I belong here, I know what I'm doing.
I mean, for me, it's just the confidence in my preparation. You know what I'm saying? If I can keep doing what I'm doing, for practice and learning, that comes with confidence. So as long as I'm out there learning, doing everything right in practice, getting coached, then the confidence will come. So.
Tre'von, you had a really good rookie season. Very impressed with how you played your rookie year.
Thank you.
What are some things that you think you can improve on, though, heading into year 2 from year 1?
I mean, to say there's one thing, that'd be kind of silly. I think I can improve in every area, whether that be, just in coverage, whatever, what I'm saying? Just always wanting to improve, so.
How would you grade your rookie season?
How would I grade my rookie season? I mean, it was fun. I mean, I wouldn't grade it or compare it to anybody. I just look at it as it was a fun season. I made a lot of, friends, new teammates, a lot of bonds, and just learned a lot of football from being my first year as a rookie.
Seems like you and Jonathan Abram have gotten pretty close over the years.
Yeah.
Over this year being teammates, what kind of led to y'all hitting it off so good?
Just he's always open to me, what I'm saying, whether it's good or bad. He's always an open communicator, always looking to help everybody, and so I love that from him. So we've connected over the past year, doing stuff outside of work, just having a good time with each other. You saw the little rock paper scissors we did yesterday, so the other day. So just having a good time going out there playing football.
It's only a couple days into training camp, but how is it going 7-on-7 with Devontae Adams out there? Does that make it a little bit more competitive?
Oh yeah, it's always competitive. When you're going against good on good, it's always competitive. It's a fun time, to see, what it's really like when we go out there when the bullets start flying. So, to have good on good and going against guys like that is a fun time.
A couple new faces in the cornerback room there in front of you. What have you seen out of guys like Averett and Rob?
Just the will, want to get better, really. They're showing up every day with an open mind, just willing to learn, what I'm saying, showing up, lifting weights, coming to meetings, everything, all the little things that we talk about, what I'm saying. And then once they get on the field, it's time to do their thing, so.
He's obviously in a different position group than Denzel Perryman, but how does his leadership kind of be, I guess, infectious?
Yeah.
How does it go throughout the rest of the team?
Yeah, he's a great leader. You see it on social media, just how he acts and how he presents himself, what I'm saying? He has that leadership quality about him. But overall, I think he's just a great locker room guy. I've said it before, that's the most important thing when we talk about building camaraderie. So, if we do that when we get on the field, then we know we can trust each other doing our jobs, so.
I think we got to the bottom of how to really pronounce Foster's last name. I mean, again, with your name.
Moehrig.
Moehrig. First name.
Yeah, Tre'von Moehrig.
Tre'von.
Yeah. Appreciate that, though.
We apologize for
No, it's all good. I know it's kind of difficult.
Between the E and the V?
Yep, just a apostrophe E. Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I appreciate that. That means a lot.
Not good for us.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all.
That's how your mom thinks.
Josh, I know that OTAs and minicamp, you're kind of working behind the scenes. How are you feeling physically? You look pretty good out there.
Yeah, I feel pretty good. Feel fast, what I'm saying? So it's the beginning of the camp. Everybody feel fast at the beginning of the camp. So it's been pretty good so far.
Obviously, the fifth-year option wasn't picked up. Does that play into things for you? And was it a disappointment, or where are you with all that?
I really don't too much think about it, honestly. I'm a firm believer in the work that you put in is going to pay out for itself. I had to be here either way. This is where I want to be. So I didn't have no problem with it. I just give me more of a reason to come in every day, gel with the guys, and work. So that's how I looked at it.
Josh, when you look at Josh McDaniel's offense, they do a lot of different things with the running backs. Obviously not asking you to share secrets, but when you look at that playbook and look at all the different things for you, how excited do you get to maybe show some more versatility in your abilities?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's obviously a great offense. It's a great group of guys. We're still learning the schemes and everything right now, so I'm still trying to figure out the ins and outs of everything. But man, I've been happy with my progression. hopefully, man, I keep stacking days and it translates.
Josh, I know you said you didn't really think about the fifth-year option thing. Well, how would you describe your mindset, going into the season?
My mindset coming into the season was already different from the beginning of the season from the end of last season because of we didn't know who the coach was going to be. You know what I'm saying? So I knew that I was going to have to learn a new offense. I knew I was going to have to come in and adjust to new coaches and all of those things. So I just knew that I was going to have to work. This whole offseason, I kind of just been thinking about that, trying to get my body right to work. You know what I'm saying? So coming in, man, and these group of guys, when you see the way that they think and the way that the reason why they do certain things, I mean, it's just amazing to me. So I'm just trying to follow that lead right now.
Josh, earlier in the offseason, Derek talked about the offense, and he said the happiest guy in the room should be you. What do you think he meant by that? And then also kind of starting behind the gun a little bit, what were you dealing with physically earlier this year?
Yeah, so I think what he meant by that, I mean, and me personally, in any offense, in any system, you gotta be dominant up front. You gotta be dominant with the run. I mean, you gotta control that's how you control the game. That's how you win games. So I think that he was just talking about that from that standpoint of, he thinking that I'm gonna come in and we gonna have another year with a O-line that's a little more experienced and things like that to be able to come in and just dominate. In the off season, I was just getting my body right. I didn't have anything that was just too crazy. I was just focusing on what I feel like I needed to focus on at that time.
Make you feel fresher coming into camp?
Yeah, definitely feel fresher, definitely.
Now that you are on the field and in this offense, I know it's really early, you guys are still putting it in, but does it feel a little bit different or a lot different than what you've been used to these last couple of years?
At the end of the day, man, football is football. Yeah, the terminology might be a little different or whatever, but concepts are everywhere. Whatever team you go on, the concepts are the same. So, man, just trying to learn their terminology, you know what I'm saying, and play fast and execute my assignment.
Did you watch film of the Patriots at all, just to kind of get a feel?
Of course, yeah. I mean, our coaches, when they came in, we was in OTAs and things like that. We watched a lot of the clips of them. We also had folders or whatever to study the plays and things like that. So, yeah, I definitely seen a lot of plays.
Stand out when you watch that? It always seems like they were always very versatile and multiple and different ways that they attacked.
I just liked how aggressive they were. A lot of the guys, just you could tell that they knew their assignment. You could tell that they was playing fast and they weren't thinking too much. That's the thing that I noticed, especially at the running back position. You could tell there wasn't too much hesitation. So that's the thing that I noticed the most.
Josh, you guys drafted Zamir White and made a couple other additions in the running back room. What's the competition been like in that room so far?
Man, the competition's been amazing. I mean, it's fun, man. I'm a firm believer of having a group of guys that's ready to compete.
Somebody try to fix this.
They need to put a weight in there. Yeah, no, I believe that, man. Iron sharpens iron, and just to be around them guys that's willing to work every day and that's good or better in certain areas, and to be able to compete with them, man, it's been fun. I mean, and be able to come in and being a vet now and being with the rookie, be able to pass that knowledge along, man. That's what the game is. That's what the game is all about.
You mentioned the offensive line being, better, hopefully this year. Early impressions on that group?
Man, we taking it day by day right now. It's still fresh. It's a lot of new faces. It's a lot of new people. So I don't know who's gonna be where or anything like that. But man, I like the work that we put in each day.
Kind of on the back end of that, Alex Leatherwood's a guy that you kind of talked to about in his ear about what the league would be like. What improvements or what have you seen from him going into this next year?
Man, I just see Wood, man, he working his butt off every day. I mean, he's one of the first guys out there at the beginning of practice working on his sets and things like that. And I remember having a talk with him, just telling him, man, if you keep putting in the work, everything else is going to pay off for itself. So, I mean, I'm excited to see what he's going to do this year.
You talk about all the competition in the room, all the running backs you have. The Patriots traditionally have kind of used a lot of backs, got a lot of guys involved. Is that a good thing for you? I mean, I know you want to have the ball as much as possible, but does that keep you healthier and all those things?
I mean, I don't know. I haven't been in the system like that for a minute, you know what I'm saying? So right now, man, I'm just trying to study my playbook, get on top of my plays so I can at least get on the field, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I've been working on right now.
You also said, at the beginning of camp, everybody feels fast, everybody feels fresh. But are you different right now? It seems like you're faster than you've been.
I keep getting that. I keep hearing that. Man, I don't know. I guess it's just the work that I put in the off season. I quietly did everything. You know what I'm saying? I made sure I stayed off social media, all of them type of things. Just quietly just put in the work. You know, so I'm just waiting to get the opportunity to come out here and show what I've been working on.
We talked to Derek yesterday. He was kind of talking about last year. It was you'd wake up and say, okay, what's going to go wrong today? Like there were so many things that went wrong, and it was a constant thing. You guys found a way about through it and everything. But if you kind of processed it, or even like taken a breath and said, okay, that's over. Like it's a new day. Have you been able to kind of process everything that happened?
I think we processed that when we had a team meeting. And we went on that little run last year. I think we all kind of collectively processed it together as a team and kind of just reset our focus on what we wanted to accomplish. And I mean, now we at the beginning, we haven't played a game, we haven't went against nobody, we haven't even hit each other yet. You know what I'm saying? So right now we just trying to accomplish them goals, taking it day by day.
How important was that last month that you guys went on that run, won that big game against the Chargers, to kind of either set a foundation or but also show you guys kind of what you're capable of doing?
Yeah, man, I know for me, I can't really speak for anybody else, but I know for me, like, the camaraderie that we had as a team them last few weeks when we had all that stuff going on was just different. I mean, the energy in the locker room, the guys that, you know, you could feel them, they care about each other and things like that, it was just different. So, man, this year, just trying to have that same camaraderie, trying to bring a group of guys in. It's a lot of new faces, a lot of new names, you know, trying to put the pieces together.
Josh, you do the Mac Hollins mile, and is that a camaraderie builder?
Mac Hollins, man, the dude that's an amazing dude, man. He's funny, and he's a hard worker, man. He comes out there every day and he puts in the work. And I'm excited to see about him. He's smart too, man. I don't think I've ever seen a guy pick up a offense so fast, honestly.
Josh, he was also the captain, the offensive captain for the Dolphins. A lot of people don't know that. What does Mac bring to this team from a leadership perspective, please?
Yeah, he's one of them guys that, I mean, I feel like everybody get along with, come in every day with a smile on his face, doesn't complain or anything like that. He just be who he is, you know, and he comes out and he works hard every day. So, yeah, man, I mean, I definitely think that he's a guy that people can look at and, you know, try to follow.
All right. Thank you.
Appreciate you guys.
Josh, Butch Jones.
Go ahead, guys. No questions.
Darren got to ask about it because there was a report a couple days ago about the contract, and Darren Waller was seeking a new contract. Any thoughts on that? And are you okay with it not happening before the season, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah, I'm focused on playing right now. My agent handles that. Whatever's going on there is whatever's going on there. But whatever the outcome is of that, I'm here. I'm playing.
Darren, I'm obviously not going to ask you to tell a secret, you wouldn't anyways, but when you look at this playbook and you see the film with Rob and all the success they have at tight ends, are you just about like a kid at Christmas now, getting ready, excited about what you're getting into?
Yeah, I'm excited. It asks me to do a lot. It challenges me, just like it challenges a lot of other guys. Allows us to do some new, fun things, and yeah, I'm very excited about the way they're pushing me, the way they're challenging me to show up for the team, and it's expanding every day. And what more could you ask for?
Darren, I know you guys don't have a traditional tight ends coach on the staff this year. How's that been adjusting, kind of not having a designated coach and the offensive staff kind of collectively coaching you guys?
Yeah, coming into it, it's like you'd think it'd be different, but I think Mick and Coach Jerry Shaplinski do a fantastic job of making sure they're covering the details with us and holding us to a high standard. We never feel like there's a lack of care by any means. Somebody's always, whether it's Cam coming in helping install stuff for the run game, they're doing a great job of divvying up roles and how they help us out, help us be better. I think they're doing a fantastic job.
How much have you watched what the Patriots have done with tight ends historically?
Before this year, I mean, you check them out because they're really good, but this year, I mean, just because they're installing that system, it's been a lot of their film. So it's been a lot of watching that. There's even been some Hernandez in there, you know, just to see how good they were with him. But I mean, just to see how good they were, how dominant they were, how precise and detailed they are, just from this offseason, from April till now, it's been very helpful to see them the way that they do it, and it helps us hold ourselves to a high standard too.
Darren, you said earlier, right off the bat actually, that your agent was handling the business side of things. For you, how hard or how easy is it to compartmentalize and just focus on football while your agent takes that? Obviously, you know, you're human, but you want to get stuff done. But how hard or easy is that to compartmentalize?
Yeah, as a human being, it's you want to, you know, think about things like that. But for me, I feel like adopting the mindset of, when I'm here, what can I give to the team as opposed to, what I can get. If I give enough, I feel like when my time comes to an end on earth, I feel like people are going to, or at least I'm going to remember, and people are going to remember me for the impact I had on people or the things I was able to do for the world and for people. So I try to take that attitude into the smallest details and parts of my day because, yeah, we're humans and we can get distracted. But I feel like taking that approach has definitely helped me to focus in on just what I can do within the day here, and it keeps it simple and keeps it fun.
Darren, watching you today, you are spending significant time helping guys. You've always been a leader, but it seemed more today than in the past? Is that something this offseason you purposed in your heart, maybe even be more of a mentor?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just finding my own leadership role. It's kind of like what I was just telling Paul, my role for me is just sharing knowledge, sharing experiences, because there's a lot of guys, it's a high pressure league to perform. And I feel like my role may be to, help them to kind of stay in the middle, because it's like you can make one good play and be like super excited. And then if you make one bad play, you're like, oh man, like, am I going to get cut or something like that? So I feel like I come in and just kind of try to help guys stay in the middle and stay encouraged and help them with small details that I've picked up along the way, but to also just let them know that I'm still learning too. I'm not any better than you or any different. I'm just a little bit maybe further along. I've seen a few more things than you have, and I just try to help you any way that I can. So I try to take that serious.
Going down to talking about helping people this offseason, kind of got deeper into your podcast. How much does kind of getting on there and telling stories really help you just kind of not only just express your feelings, but also help other people with their journey?
Yeah, I feel like that's just more of my purpose, just as a man who's in this position, who's in a game that's, supreme toughness and physicality and stuff like that. I still have real human experiences, and I feel like it helps me be better at this game when I talk about what I'm feeling and what I'm going through. So I just try to present that to people and be like, if you have conversations like that, it'll have you feeling much more freer on a day-to-day basis. We don't have things to hide, or you don't have to be afraid of what people may think. You just put yourself out there as authentic as you are. It just makes the world a better place. So I just try to play my part.
Darren, I know you guys aren't practicing in pads or anything. It's kind of not full speed yet, but has being on the field kind of helped you guys work out that chemistry with new guys coming in, obviously led by Devontae Adams, but some other guys coming into that receiver room?
Yeah, I feel like that's the only way you can do it, with live bullets flying at real speed. And it takes that build-up stage where it's on air and learning the details, but it has to be to the point where you're competing against people and it's moving fast, and it's for, long periods of time because games are long. So it's something that, everything looks really good on paper and, as far as our philosophy and stuff like that. So now it's about putting in the work to make it translate to the field, because it's not easy, especially in this league. So, it takes that every single day, and every day is going to matter up until week 1.
Darren, the Chiefs would have never let Demarcus leave. They thought they had Tyreek signed up till Devontae still screwed that up. What does he bring to this team, Demarcus Robinson? A lot of people, because they're talking about Devontae and should, but maybe overlooking with Demarcus.
I feel like somebody who's been in a championship environment, somebody who's been in an environment of what it's like to win a division year in, year out, and establish dominance and make plays in big moments and big games for that team. So that's something that, my locker's right next to him. So I always, chop it up with him and just watch how he moves and how he goes about doing things, because he knows what winning a championship looks like, and you want to be around those guys and soak what you can from them. And he has fun while he's doing it. So I feel like he's a great addition.
Two more. Good.
Whenever we ask you about offense and Josh McDaniels, you always say discipline in the red zone. How have guys taken to that, and how exciting is that, knowing that the red zone has been a struggle?
Guys are excited about it, especially with some of the things that they're presenting to us to be able to do down there. Even in the spring, like, that's like, hey, this is what we got to do you guys want to make that jump. This is one huge space, especially on offense, like we have to be better at. So guys are definitely excited about it. And as we get going into full speed with it in training camp, I feel like it'll develop more and more. But I'm excited about it with the guys that we have. We got so many guys that can make plays for us in key situations like that. So it's going to be a fun development.
Foster and some other guys have talked about the Mac Hollins mile. I was wondering if you've partaken in that, and what exactly is it?
I did partake in the Mac Hollins mile. This was in the spring after every lift. So we'd condition, and then we'd lift, and then after the lift, we'd go out in the field and run a mile. I think it's you start on the goal line, you run 2 full laps, and then you go all the way to the 50 on the other side, and then repeat it and come back, and it's supposedly a mile. You got to ask Mac. I don't. We're taking his word for it, but.
Around the outside of the outdoor field, or just like?
Yeah, so if you're like on the field, you go 100 yards, then across the goal line, and then do that same like a lap, 2 laps, then you go all the way across to the opposite 50, and then do that and come all the way back, and supposedly a mile. You got to ask Mac.
He seems like an interesting guy, though. Have you?
I mean, I don't want to give that guy too much credit, but I've known him a couple months, and he's probably one of the top 5 funniest guys I've ever met in my life.
There you go. That's an impact right there.
Deshaun and Adam, when we know what Foster has meant to his team, we know the talent that he has. Statistically, though, do you think this could be a year he breaks out? We know what the Patriots have done with tight ends, as we said, and then the other part of that is how do you pronounce his last name?
Well, I learned it's Morrow. I've called him Moreau I still do, even though I know how it's pronounced, I still get it wrong. But I mean, as far as stats go, who knows? But I mean, I know his impact. I know how good that he is. I know how much he's improving, and the more that they put him in situations, he's going to take advantage of those situations in a positive way. I feel like that's all he's ever done since he's been here. So I don't know exactly what the numbers will look like, but I know his impact is only going to continue to grow.
Awesome.
Darren, not to say they threw the ball to you every time, but the last few years you've been the focal point of the passing offense, and Devontae was the same way with the Packers. What's that been like, kind of adjusting to being in the same room as somebody who's kind of that more so alpha dog and kind of gets all the targets?
I mean, it's awesome. I think it just provides like a great energy to the room. You throw Hunter in the mix, and then you throw, like he was just talking about Demarcus, like a lot of guys that know how to make plays. And you have that energy in the room. It just lifts everybody up to that level. Even when guys may not have it a certain day, it's like you see that guy lined up next to you, across from you, somebody like Tay, and I'm like, I'm coming with it. Like I'm not gonna have Tay out here feeling like he's by himself, So it's really a positive impact on me. It's helped me just want to raise my game to another level and help our team do the same thing.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate y'all.
That's it for today. Appreciate it.